Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Marcus Wulfhart is ready for some pest control against the vile Skaven. We have an Empire versus Skaven matchup for you here today. We have AneurysmSauce leading the glorious forces of the Empire and Legion leading the Vermintide. So for the forces of the Empire, we have Marcus Wulfhart, of course, leading the way with his focus shot, amber bow, his net, and fleet-footed. We also have the Witch Hunter, and we have the Bright Wizard with Burning Head and Fireball. We also have a lineup of Great Cannons, 3 of those. We have 3 Empire Knights behind them, and for the front line, we have a nice unbreakable line of units. We have a line of 3 Flagellants and the Sigmar Sons, and then we have 2 Spearmen with shields protecting the cannons themselves, and all of these frontline troops are up to 6 chevrons apiece, with the exception, of course, of the ROR, who is always at max chevrons. And now, for the forces of the Skaven, we have Lord Skrolk leading the forces with Rod of Corruption, Liber Bubonicus. We have Pestilent Birth and Vermintide, and we have the Warlock Engineer with his armor that pretty much gives a Mortis Engine effect. And now we also have the Assassin with the Assassin's Trophy. And for the rest of the Skaven forces, we have Poison Wind Mortars. We have 3 Warlock Jezzails. So those will be doing very good work as well. One of those being Natty Boo Sharpshooters. Now we have 4 Rat Ogres kind of surrounding the deployment. A front line of Skaven Slaves, 4 of those, and 4 Clan Rat Spears mixed in as well. So that is going to be the army for the Skaven. So let's get this show on the road. So yeah, of course the cannons are already opening up, kind of firing at units across the board. We're doing some good damage to the Warlock Jezzails, and as well as doing good damage to the Poison Wind Mortars. Now these Natty Boo Sharpshooters are hidden still, so they will be able to avoid that incoming fire. But yeah, those mortars are actually taking quite a bit of damage already. These Warlock Jezzails are almost getting down to half health as well, so these cannons are doing very well. I think, yeah, the biggest threat, though, is going to be the Poison Wind Mortars to their front line as these shots rain in, as the Warlock Jezzails now open fire as well, trying to dodge those shots, but Sigmar Sons taking a few of them and getting that damage after effect. But yeah, these Warlock Jezzails are just tearing into these cannons. Lots of damage already being done to this far left flank for the Empire. The precision that these Warlock Jezzails have is just astounding, as they've already taken out one of the artillery models here. Another one drops on the far right flank. That one's now already down to 2. Middle one still has its 3, and another one is dropping to the far left one. So those Warlock Jezzails are just tearing into those cannons, as each of those are just, as this one's already routing, and yeah, those things have been brought offline so quickly. That was very much a surprise at how quickly they were able to take them out. Now the Skaven are coming in with their Rat Ogres just piling straight into the front line. They really don't need to even try to go into the back line anymore. Those Rat Ogres would have been nice to go for those Great Cannons, but all those Great Cannons are offline for the most part. And now, yeah, the Empire Knights are now charging through their lines into the Skaven, getting their nice charges in, as this middle line is doing a lot of work. The Bright Wizard is down to half health, if we have a summons of Plagmons coming in, which is going to do very well. Good damage unit against the Sigmar Sons, as now Lord Skrolk is getting into it. So yeah, the Assassin has dropped his Rival Hide Talisman, so everything's got minus 40 melee attack, so that is a massive debuff. The Witch Hunter also has the Assassin's Trophy dropped on him, but the Assassin isn't quite on top of him just yet. Now a Fireball coming in, trying to shoot out the Assassin, but a net coming down, locking all of these characters in place, as Marcus Wulfhart is able to continue firing in, as Lord Skrolk has taken quite a bit of damage. So yeah, and there is the shots raining in from Nadu with sharpshooters, just absolutely tearing into that Bright Wizard. One volley taking off a ton of his health. The Lord Scroll is also very low indeed as the shots continue to rain in from Marcus, though the Assassin is now on top of the Witch Hunter. And that Assassin is going to be doing very good work against that Witch Hunter. That Assassin is very much a infantry type of character, or anti-hero character, specifically Footlords, and it is just tearing into that Witch Hunter as the Knights are now going to charge through to protect it, but the backline is starting to get a little compromised on the Skaven side as the Empire Knights have gotten into one of the Warplock Jezzails as the others are firing in, pushing off this unit, so that far right push was not successful, but these units of Empire Knights are now going to have a clear run up to the Natty Boo Boo Sharpshooters, which are probably the biggest threat outside of Lord Scroll and probably the Assassin. But yeah, these Rat Ogres are now going to try and salvage the situation. Some shots coming in from the Great Cannons, actually clipping some of the Empire Knights. But I think, yeah, the Rat Ogres, especially with these Clan Rat Spears, are going to be able to push off those Empire Knights. So those two Warplock Jezzail units are still going to be functional. Now, the Witch Hunter has been routed from the Assassin. Those Empire Knights were not able to completely protect him as he does go down completely. But now the Assassin turns his gaze to Marcus Wulfhart as Assassin Trophy is procced on him, but here come the Empire Knights trying to save the day. So now Marcus Wulfhart is going to want to be running away. However, now the Rat Ogres are going to be coming in to keep him from doing that. So it looks like we do have another net coming in. So Marcus, though, he is stuck a little bit on one of the units, so he should be able to get away a little bit, having to shoot that Rat Ogre straight into the face to get him free. But he is able to kite away for now. The balance power is in the Skaven's favor right now, especially with these two Warplock Jezzails pretty much free to fire right now, firing right into the Empire Knights, a very good mobility target to be shooting into, as the Bright Wizard is back, though, as a fireball comes in, arcing its way towards these units, firing into Lord Scroll, and a focus shot also finishing the Skaven Lord as Lord Skrulk drops to the sustained fire. So now we have the Assassin continuing to hound Marcus Wulfhart. These cannon crew might just be enough to keep him from getting onto Marcus fully, but that's that Assassin is getting a little low on leadership himself, but he is doing quite a bit of work against Marcus Wulfhart. But the balance power has kind of edged back a little bit in Empire's favor. As these Empire Knights have returned. But yeah, that cannon crew has now shattered, so there is nothing left to save Marcus from that Assassin, though the Assassin is almost ready to rout. I think at one shot, trying to get a focus shot in, point blank shot, see if it goes off. It does not, but it's just a regular shot comes in, clipping through him. The Empire Knights charging into the Assassin might be able to rout him off the charge, but the Rat Ogres are now going to charge in themselves, getting a good counter charge, and those Empire Knights are going to be routing, but so does the Assassin. And a net also dropping down as he's now able to shoot in as much as he can. Marcus really doesn't need to keep getting those shots. Get rid of that Assassin. A nice shot going in, actually downing 3 Rat Ogres in one shot, getting good value for his ammunition. As Marcus continues to run away, another 3 drop. So 2 shots, 6 Rat Ogres down. Very good work by Marcus, and it does rout the Rat Ogres. But these Clan Rat Spears will not be so easily broken by just some shots, as now they are going to be hounding him. The Assassin is back, so is the Warlock Engineer, and if you look on the far side of the field, we do have some spears and 2 flagellants left. Now these spears they will be trying to chase off these Natty Boo sharpshooters, but if even one of those units is able to turn fire, we have some Rat Ogres now. They should be able to keep them busy long enough for those Warplock Jezzails to continue firing, as now Marcus Wulfhart is trying to get free so he can get as many shots in as he can to this very haggard looking Assassin. But that Assassin, all it takes is a few good hits and Marcus will be down for the count, as that first shot taking in a good chunk of his health off, probably about almost half of his remaining health. But the Assassin, just a few shots against him, is able to rout him. He is very low. I do not think we'll be seeing him again, though. Yeah, these Clan Rat Spears are they're not going to be breaking so easily against Marcus. His shots just aren't going to be doing enough damage quickly. And yeah, as you can see, the balance of power has gone right back into the Skaven side, as now those shields in the far side are routing, and Marcus is going to soon follow suit, and that will be our game. So very good back and forth game. Empire was almost able to make their way back into it, but I think, yeah, just that the fire from these Warplock Jezzails so early on into these cannons, they took the cannons off so quickly, and these front line that the Empire brought. So you have all these Flagellants and the Sigmar Sons, all of which are unbreakable. They have them all chevroned up. So the idea was to keep the cannons free from the Skaven as much as possible, to hold back all of the Skaven slaves, clan rats, all that stuff. That was their job, was to hold the line, but with the cannons offline so quickly, they had nothing to hold the line for. I still had the Empire Knights, though as soon as those cannons were gone, those were the targets of the Warplock Jezzails. So yeah, the Warplock Jezzails were really the MVP, I think, for the Skaven side. And the Poison Wind Mortars were able to get knocked off fairly quickly. And then, I mean, the shots from Marcus Wulfhart were able to deal good damage to Lord Skrolk, get him off the field, and do good damage to the Assassin and Warlock Engineer. But yeah, the Assassin was just able to beat up that Witch Hunter pretty badly. But yeah, I think maybe some middle ranged units for the Empire would have been good here. Maybe drop one of the Great Cannons, have them deploy a little farther back, because these Warplock Jezzails have really good range themselves. So if the farther back the cannons can go while still being useful and still being able to be protected by these spears, I think may have been good in saving them for at least a little bit longer. Otherwise, it was a very good match. Empire almost made it back, but the Vermintide, led by Legion, will take the day. Now, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and have a good one.